Back in 1876, the United States faced a terrifying Second Civil War, this time over a broken presidential election. Furious Democrats rallied behind a chilling slogan, Tilden or Blood. They demanded their candidate, Samuel J. Tilden, be seated in the White House. Rumors spread that rival partisan militias were actively forming and preparing to march directly on Washington, D.C., intending to install their preferred president by force. Barely a decade after the Civil War ended, the imminent collapse of the electoral system became the nation's primary existential threat. To understand how it came to this, we have to look at the South. At the time, the region was under federal military oversight, a period known as Reconstruction. Union troops remained stationed there to protect the political rights of Black Americans, ensuring they could safely vote and hold office. This map shows the mathematical deadlock of election night. You can see the Democrat, Tilden, sitting at exactly 184 electoral votes, one single vote short of the presidency. The Republican candidate, Hayes, trailed at 165. Both needed 185 to win. The problem was 20 missing electoral votes. 4 specific states submitted contradictory elector slates, with both claiming victory. Whoever secured those 20 votes would become president. The U.S. Constitution offered no clear set of rules to resolve competing elector slates. The government entered a constitutional vacuum, with a ticking clock counting down to Inauguration Day in March. Congress tried to fix the crisis by passing the Electoral Commission Act. This created a 15-member bipartisan panel of lawmakers and Supreme Court justices to review the contested votes. But the commission failed to reach a neutral consensus. They voted straight down party lines, 8-7, awarding every single disputed vote to the Republican, Hayes. Outraged Democrats in the House of Representatives retaliated. They launched a relentless filibuster, a parliamentary tactic to delay debate, hoping to stall the official count until Inauguration Day forced a national crisis. A specific terror began driving the panic: Mexicanization. This was the anxiety that the U.S. was rapidly becoming a fragile state where political transitions are settled by armed coups rather than ballots. That terror convinced the political establishment that preserving the Union required bypassing standard democratic rules. They needed to stop the clock. Desperate 11th-hour negotiations took place outside Congress. Political insiders met in secret, most famously at Washington's Wormley Hotel. This meeting forged the unwritten bargain of 1877. The Democrats agreed to drop their filibuster, accept the commission's ruling, and allow Hayes to take the presidency. In exchange, the Republicans made a devastating concession. Hayes would withdraw the last remaining federal troops from the South, abandoning federal military oversight of the region. This unwritten contract successfully traded the highest executive office in the nation for total political control of the southern states. The deal worked. The filibuster abruptly ended, and Rutherford B. Hayes was peacefully inaugurated on March 5th. A collective sigh of relief washed over the Washington establishment. The threat of an armed uprising evaporated. Hayes made good on his end of the bargain. Shortly after taking office, he ordered the withdrawal of the remaining federal troops from Louisiana, South Carolina, and Florida. Without federal military protection, the integrated Republican state governments collapsed. Redeemer Democrats, white Southerners seeking to restore the pre-war social order, seized absolute power. A peaceful handshake and a transfer of power in the Capitol directly triggered a systemic takeover by white supremacists in the South. While Washington celebrated a bloodless political resolution, Black Americans living in the South faced a catastrophic loss of their civil rights. The new reality of home rule quickly replaced federal oversight with political violence, voter suppression, and armed intimidation. This abandonment officially brought the Reconstruction era to a close. State legislatures quickly passed Jim Crow laws, state and local statutes that legalized racial segregation, along with mass disenfranchisement, locking in an era of Democratic dominance known as the Solid South. The political establishment successfully bought peace and prevented a constitutional crisis, but the currency they used was the freedom of Black Americans, proving that some political deals leave century-long scars on a democracy.